A state-of-the-art measurement system must include software that simplifies data acquisition and analysis with the utmost precision. As with our hardware, we focus on software with the highest quality. Oxygen measurement software, the measurement software from Dewetron. Our aim is to listen to our customers, develop functions that make our customers' work more easier, more straightforward, and deliver the highest quality. Oxygen 6.0 comes with numerous features that make post-processing much more convenient, enable simple handling of multiple Dewetron data files, and allows batch processing, which significantly simplifies further processing of the measurement data. Our customers rely on the latest camera technology. With the integration of the ALVIUM camera from Light Vision, we offer our customer system solution for a wide range and variety of application in the industrial, automotive, aerospace and defense, and energy and power segment. The numerous functions related to the data analysis and video processing have prompted us to release a new main version of Oxygen by end of 2021. More about Oxygen 6.0 on our website, dewetron.com, and on our company page on LinkedIn and YouTube. We will continue to release new features and improvements quarterly, also in 2022. Be curious about upcoming versions of the oxygen measurement software from Dewetron.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our webinar and welcome to Dewetron's first update of 2022. Our CPO, Christoph Wiedner, already announced it, and we are excited that we can finally present you Oxygen 6.0. You've already seen it, not just our Oxygen became a makeover, received a makeover with the main release, but also the webinar format has changed. My name is Barbara Böck and I'm today's moderator. Together with me is my colleague Ivica Beresic, a Dewetron expert. He works for Dewetron for a very long time and has huge know-how in the application field. He will present to us the measurement software, and he also prepared a demo file. So he will be working live in the measurement software Oxygen. Ivica, say hi.
Hello, Barbara. Hello, all the audience. I'm very happy to be on the webinar again, and this time not as a moderator, but as technician or as the user of the software. And I can't wait to start because we have so much wonderful news.
Super, great, thank you. I don't want to keep you longer in the dark, but I have to tell you some administrative topics. So on the right side, on your right side, wherever it is, you will find a user panel where you can ask questions anonymously, and we will respond to these questions at the end of the webinar. Moreover, we prepared a handout that you can download there as well during the webinar. Okay, great. So I think we have all the administrative topics covered. We are looking forward to the exchange with you, and now we want to start. So our R&D department worked a lot during the last few months, and we don't only have software updates, but we also prepared some hardware updates for you. Ivica, do you want to tell us more about the chassis controller?
Yes, definitely. So as you already know, we don't have just software updates. So it's not just a pure Oxygen update. We have hardware news as well. And therefore, I would like to talk about the hardware news first. And as you already said, so I will jump to our next slide. And that's the hardware news, the new chassis controller. Everybody who uses our DV3, A4 or M4 format knows that there are 4 slots, and those 4 slots are very important if you have a high channel count, that you don't use those slots for digital inputs or CAN message or something like that. So to be able to allow to use those Trion module slots for real analog input signals, to be able to have about 32 analog channels or more power channels, we decided to implement the so-called chassis controller into the system, which means that that chassis controller has digital input and output, has a counter integrated, has an aux, has the possibility to sync over PTP, GPS, IRIC, and PPS, and has also a CAN connection for CAN input and output, which allows us, so you don't need any more the try-on base module for digital inputs or for counter inputs. You don't need the try-on CAN module anymore. So you can use the 4 try-on slots for your high-speed analog signals. And that's why we decided to have that chassis controller built in every DV3, A4 or M4 system. And those connections or those possibilities are just unlocked via license.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So when someone decides to get it, to want to have it afterwards, it's still possible, or it's still, we can still make it possible for them.
Exactly, it's a simple firmware and license upgrade, and the system, every system is going to have that chassis controller on it, because we understood and we saw that 90% of our DV3 A4 need any of those connections anyways. So also, if you decide later on that you would like to have those connections, you can unlock them by a license. Exactly.
Okay, so to put it simple, our customers mainly gain 1 slot thanks to the chassis controller.
They gain, in worst case, even 2 slots, because you would need a CAN module and a try-on base. So CAN module and try-on base are integrated in this chassis controller. So in worst case, you could even, you will get even 2 more slots for analog signals. Exactly, yeah.
So really good news. Thank you.
Amazing news, as I said.
Apart from this hardware update, we released another hardware update together with a dear partner from Allied Vision. So starting from now, our Oxygen supports the ALVIUM camera. Ivica, I think we prepared another video. You are the man of the videos. Can you maybe start it for us?
So yes, I will start the ALVIUM video now. Give me a second.
Allied Vision's ALVIUM 1800 series is a revolutionary crossover camera. It combines the performance of an industrial machine vision camera with a platform optimized for embedded systems. This opens unprecedented possibilities for advanced embedded vision applications. The hardware of the ALVIUM 1800 series builds on the same platform as the ALVIUM 1500's embedded camera modules. It is available as a small and lightweight bare board module with a rock-solid single-board design to withstand shocks and vibrations. The ALVIUM 1800 series includes both USB and MIPI-CSI2 models for easy integration into embedded systems. Compared to FPGA-based industrial cameras, the unique ALVIUM processor technology built into the ALVIUM 1800 ensures optimal power efficiency. So in a nutshell, the ALVIUM 1800 is optimized for easy integration into an embedded system. But it comes from Allied Vision, a leading manufacturer of industrial machine vision cameras, which means it fulfills quality and performance standards never seen before in embedded sensor modules. The ALVIUM 1800 series feature high-performance CMOS sensors popular in the machine vision industry, such as Sony's Pregis sensors. These sensors deliver an outstanding image quality at high frame rates. Like any machine vision camera, the ALVIUM 1800 series comes with built-in image correction and pre-processing capabilities to optimize the image for your application on board the camera. This frees up CPU capacity on the host. ALVIUM 1800 USB cameras also include advanced triggering functions for high-precision image capture. Finally, the camera is available with robust industrial-grade housing with various lens mount options and a high-precision sensor alignment for crisp, distortion-free images. So with all these machine vision capabilities combined with an embedded optimized platform, the ALVIUM 1800 series is a true crossover between an embedded camera module and an industrial camera. It opens unprecedented possibilities to design advanced vision systems on an embedded platform.
A big thank you to our colleagues in Arnsburg who prepared the video for us. We now saw the features of the camera, and Ivica, I think we already see a live picture on your screen. Can you prove that?
That's true. I hope the webinar tool is not going to. So here we go. You should now
yes, we
see
see
my
your hand. If that's your hand.
Yes. Perfect. So yes, that's really a live picture, and that's also my demonstration kit for today, where I'm connected via Windows Remote Control to it. That's the camera already showing the picture to show what we have done in the software for this camera. So as you already mentioned, the support for this ALVIUM camera 1800 is already live within Oxygen. And that camera is a USB 3 camera, which is amazing because the data and power supply is going to happen over USB 3.0. Everybody who knows our GigE cameras, it was always necessary to supply those camera additionally. And with USB 3.0, it's not necessary anymore. The amazing thing, even if it's USB, we are able to trigger or synchronize the video acquisition. So that's possible as well. And with that camera, there is a nice gimmick because that camera may also be used or is used very often in automotive industry. And you can't always connect the camera like as it should be. Sometimes you have to put it on the door or on the roof. And therefore, it was requested that the camera has the possibility to be rotated by 90, 180, or even 270 degree to have the picture as it should be. Since I have put my camera here as it should be, everything is fine. What I would like to show you just shortly, but I will not go into details, is how the settings of the camera look like. So everybody who knows our camera settings from any other cameras, we have the settings here. That camera can go up to 240 frames per second, as the rotation is again in here as well. And you have the possibilities to change the mode, the frame width and the frame height, the brightness, the color, and so much more with this amazing camera. And so it's very nice to see what happened here with the camera, but even on this picture here, so I don't see if you see my mouse. Do you see my mouse?
Yeah,
perfect. Okay, so even here in Oxygen with this picture, you don't get the feeling of the size of the camera. So what I always like to do when I show this amazing gadget is the size of that camera. So I will go and unplug the camera now. So it's happening live now. So don't you worry. If I'm just shortly out of the picture, I'm gonna take the camera now, okay? So as you can see, I'm gonna unplug it.
So your office.
Yes, perfect, the roof of my office. So I'm just gonna unplug the camera. It's
okay, now we see
connected.
your inspirational quotes.
Oh yes, of course.
And now the video is gone.
Yes, exactly. So I have unplugged the camera. And what I always like to show is the size of the camera, because that's unbelievable. So I have a small hand. My wife tells me very often it's a women hand, so it's not big. So if I take that's the camera. So look the size of this amazing gadget. So the
actually,
size,
it looks bigger on the measurement screen than it is in reality.
it's definitely true. So that's what I wanted to show you, because I put that picture in there because it's high resolution to see some details of the camera. But if you look in real life of the camera, the size, the weight and everything of the camera and the functionalities that this camera offers, and we have implemented it, that is amazing. And I'm so happy to have that gadget in our portfolio now.
So it's perfect for space critical applications, I guess.
Exactly, and also for automotive, when you have crash tests or something, or you are driving and you have to brake very hard, and of course, because it has nearly no weight and it's small, you don't have to fix it very, very hard on a roof or something. That's just amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, and also thank you for unplugging the camera and showing it live to our participants.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Before we start into the biggest part of Oxygen 6.0, we want to talk about can-out and array math. Ivica,
Yes.
do you show us what has changed in the last update?
Yes, so arrays got some love, as I like to say it, in this release, and because we had a lot of requests from customers that they would like to calculate with arrays, that they would like to make formulas with arrays, that they would like to take one element of the array and transport it via CAN, so send it out via CAN, and so we decided to implement some possibilities with arrays, and it's not going to stop here, but it's the beginning. Before I continue, if you have questions, again, we write them down in the chat. It's anonymous. We are going to answer them at the end of the webinar, just to let you know. So again, back to the arrays. So what we did is we made it possible with this release to make formulas with the arrays. So what I'm going to show you now is the possibility. So I have already made a power motor group here, and a power motor group has usually harmonics, and these harmonics are built 50 harmonics, 50 elements in an array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new formula. I'm going to call that formula harmonics 1 plus 2. It doesn't make sense what I'm going to do, but just to show the possibilities. And if I go into the power group voltage and where my harmonics are, I'm able, for example, to take this U1 harmonics, which is an array, and just sum it up with U2 harmonics. Okay, and you see already down here that it is, or it would be a bunch of arrays. So I'm going to make a measurement. I hope it's going to work. So here we go. And we already see the first harmonic rising, and we could put it out, and we are going to see it on the screen later on. What you can do now, if you say, I don't want to see all the harmonics because I just care about the harmonics 1 to 10, of course, it is possible to say, I want to see harmonics beginning with 1 and the next 10 elements. I can do it then well. Of course, the mathematic correctness have to be here. So it has to be always the same size of arrays, otherwise it's not going to work. And you see that also up there. So again, here, 1 to 10. And it's again working, and we have only the 10 harmonics here in this formula. The other thing that we did as well is, if you choose the harmonics and you say, I would like to have a statistics over that harmonic, which was from a customer from ours who needed that, you can make an average over the whole harmonics that we have here. So here we go. So that's it about the arrays and the calculations. And if we look further now, another request was to have the possibility.
I think I have one little question.
Yes.
Before you said, before we had the screen, that the first item is 0, but you entered 1 to 10. Shouldn't it be 0 to 9?
Depends on what you want to see. The first number tells you where the array starts, at which element the array starts, and the 10 tells you how many elements you want to have. You could enter also 0, then it starts with 0, and then you say 10 elements, and then you have 0 till 9. So this is exactly this picture here. So you have an array of 10 elements, and if you say start with 0, it starts with 0 and ends with 9, of course, because these are 10 elements. But I said like I start with 1 because 0 is usually in the electrical engineering, it's just a DC offset. And I said like I don't care, I just care about the main harmonic, and that's number 1. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So regarding CAN, so we had a lot of things now added into CAN, and it's going to be even more in the next release. I can't wait, because this is something my customers have been requesting, and it's just so amazing. So what we can now do is, without a DBC file, add messages and add a signal. And if we now want to, so previously, prior to this, it was if you wanted to send a harmonic, for example, over CAN to whatever system, you had to make a math formula, extract that array, and send it then to the over CAN with a formula. And now it's easier. You go here, of course, transmit. We don't want to receive. And now you have here the possibility to say transmission settings. And if you now say, okay, I want to send the 5th harmonic, you go here to harmonics of the first phase, you take it here, you drop it here, and then here you can choose the array index. 5th harmonics would be beginning with 0, as you said, would be the index 6. Okay, so this is now very easily done, very fast done, and has no problem, and is so much easier done. So I showed this to one of my customers, and they are so happy because they had that thing, they had to do it, and we implemented it for them. So this is arrays. As I said, they got some love already, and that's what happened in this release to arrays.
Thank you for showing, and I'm glad you are so excited about the arrays that can out.
Yes, perfect.
What do you say? Shall we start talking about the biggest topic of Oxygen 6.0?
Yes, definitely. I'm just going to turn off the motor because it's getting a little bit loud. So yeah, I would say let's start with the major part.
Big news.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm super excited and super glad that we can tell you that we got Michael Oberhofer, our RnD manager, to prepare a little video about what the main feature in Oxygen 6.0 is. Ivica, are you again so nice and may you put on the video?
Oh yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, we have our last video for today, and that's, I need to see. Here it is. I'm going to start it now.
Thank you.
Data acquisition and recording is our passion. But this is only the first step in a measurement campaign, followed by data screening, data analysis, and other post-processing. To face this challenge, we introduced a feature set called data navigation to make it easier than it's today. Because today you have to often use a third-party software, and we want that you use Oxygen in first steps because of its easy user experience. In the first step of this data navigation, which core feature is to open more than one data file and work with more than one data file for convenient data processing and post-processing. We introduced the feature of opening multiple files of an oxygen measurement, oxygen net measurement in Oxygen 6.0. In Oxygen 6.1, in our next iteration cycle, we will go a step further, and you can load every DMD file. You can load multiple DMD files from individual measurements and compare them and screen them and do post-processing with this data. In the long term, we want to make Oxygen a data hub for analysis and post-processing of different data sources.
Great, thank you. So we now saw Michael Oberhofer, our RnD manager, who gave us an introduction to data navigation, which is the main feature of Oxygen 6.0. So also welcome to data navigation. And he already mentioned it. There are three main features. One, opening multiple DMD files. Two, exporting multiple DMD files. And three, batch processing. Ivica, what do you say? Shall we maybe start with opening multiple DMD files?
I think so, yeah, because I'm not able to do all the three at the same time. So yes, let's start. Let's start with open multiple DMD files. And as Michael already mentioned, in this very first process or this very first release, and in the next releases, this is going to change. It's possible to open multiple DMD files and overlay them over each other just for Oxygen Net solutions. This is going to be changed in future, and normal files will be able to be overlaid as well. So what I'm going to do is so in the background, you see still my setup working, but I'm going to open a measurement file, and you will now see it's written fewer. It's opening a new instance of oxygen, which is possible. I don't know if everybody knows about that feature, that we are able to open viewers while the measurement is happening. In the background, we are able to analyze files. And as you already see, this is a measurement file of 120 channels. So oxygen we made a measurement with I don't know how many hundreds of signals with an oxygen net solution, and in every system have been around 100 channels approximately. I think we connected over 10 systems, and I would like to go now into the settings, and what you already see is this is the first system with those multiple amounts of input signals. And what I would like to do now is go into the settings and say in the analysis files, add additional files from other systems that have done the measurement at the same time. And what I can do now is I can say, please open further files. The first file I do not have to open because that's already opened. If I click here now on open, it takes, of course, a couple of seconds because again, per system, 100 inputs, that's a lot. So if I go now back to my channels system, so you already see here, the files have opened. If I go back here to the channels system, and if I close it here, you see for every separate file, the system, and if I open the system, the Trion modules that have been implemented in that system. And to show you how it looks like, if you put in let's say recorder, not recorder, sorry. It's better seen in the chart recorder. So let's open the chart recorder. So what you can do now is I close here and you see again the separate files, 1, 2, 3, 4 files. The first file I put in here. Then I open the system of the second file. And I open the system of the third file. And you see they start all at the same time. You have them overlaid because the measurement started at the same time. And you can now watch multiple files over each other like it was recorded in the same file, but it was not because these are separated files. This is something that is going to be extended to normal measurements. If you measure multiple measurements after each other, you will be able to overlay them, to combine them, to do post-processing, and that's an amazing feature. So that's opening multiple DMD files at once to analyze them and do post-processing within Oxygen.
Thank you. That's amazing.
It is. It definitely is.
We already mentioned it. So if you open multiple DMD files, we will probably also want to export multiple DMD files.
Yes.
How does that work?
So I did a small measurement today with my motor kit that you saw at the beginning of the webinar on my camera. So I did 3 measurements after each other now. And because these are the same measurements with the same setup files, I'm going to open number 1. And what happened when you had to do, let's say, exporting multiple same files until now. So you see here a motor measurement. And what happened until now when you had to do the measurement? I'm just playing so that you see it was a run-up of the motor where the RPM is rising. You had to open every single file and export it manually for every single file. And what's possible now is you go to the exports, you open the exports menu. Let's say MATLAB, because that's still a small file compared to CSV if I do raw data exporting, and you choose the signals that you want to export. You have the possibility still to export that single file, but now there is a second button here called batch export. You click on that one. You go here into your folder where those files are, and you choose the files that you want to export. Now I'm choosing on purpose also the file that I have already opened to show you something. So I open those 3 files, and you already see first file cannot be opened. Of course, it can't be opened because I have it already open as a file, because that's the file I was working on. But all the others here, and now you can say overwrite existing files if you want to overwrite existing files, and continue after error. What does mean continue after error? If you have selected a signal and that signal doesn't exist in one of the other files, it's going to be an error and the export is going to be aborted. If you say continue after error, that error, like the channel doesn't exist, is going to be ignored and the other file is still going to be exported. So,
okay, so I guess that's beneficial if you want to start an export before going home and if you expect it to be done when you get back in the morning.
Exactly, that's the point. And what you can do now is you can choose the folder where you want to export it, and you can hit start. And now you'll see, without me touching anything, the files are opened in the background. They are going to be exported into MATLAB. File number 1 is done. File number 2 is going to be done. There we go. And you see, this is happening automatically. Now imagine doing this all manual, how long this takes if you do this completely manual. And so we see those files are exported, all 3 files are exported. And if we now go to the folder export, data export, you see here the 3 MAT files, so MATLAB files that have been exported completely automatically as batch export, even me not touching anything, just in one file telling what I need. So that came also to this new Oxygen 6.0.
Perfect, thank you. For everyone who wants to get a step-by-step explanation, we prepared a Dewetron Academy video tutorial on it. And if you don't know this format yet, every Tuesday we publish a Dewetron Academy tutorial video on social media. And if you want to see the entire overview, you can go to our website, to the Academy section in the menu, and then simply hit video tutorials, and there you will find all the videos we've published so far. Just a little marketing input here.
Very nice.
Okay. We talked about how to open multiple DMD files and how to export them. Now we also want to work with them. How does batch processing look like?
Yes, that's amazing. So already open multiple files is an amazing step forward. Exporting multiple files is, I know a lot of customers who asked it for, and we have input. It's a huge step forward. Editing multiple files for post-processing within Oxygen is something everybody was dreaming of, and we have it now. So that's amazing. So I want to show it again. So again, in the viewer drainer, so it's a German and English at the same time. So within the viewer, we have RPM. Again, it's the run up, and you have multiple of those measurements because run up, coast down, staying constant. It's the same setup file and everything. And you're like, okay, I forgot to calculate something. I would like to do analysis, and I would like to have that analysis in all of those files. Until now, you had to open every file manually, enter the formula in there, and so on. And I'm going to show you how it's done now, and that's really amazing. So you go into, for example, that's the measurement file, and let's say I want to have the RPM not in RPM. Let's say I would like to have it in rounds per second. It doesn't make sense, but I don't know of any formula which does make sense in the fast part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a formula to a formula group. I'm going to call it RPS. Okay, so rounds per second. I'm going to put in here the RPM, this is the speed. I'm going to divide it by 60. So minutes divided by 60 is a second. I can call it here as a unit RPS. So if I go back here now and I can choose here, like add this here, the RPS, here we go. You see the RPM and the RPS. I save this now into this first file. Okay, this works with any formula. I'm just gonna keep it simple and to show you everything. And now you're like, okay, I have 4 other files where this formula is missing. What you are going to do is you open the settings menu. You go here into file history and you say apply changes to other measurement files. You open that, you go to the other measurement files, you choose the other measurement files. Again, not the first one, because that's the one that I already have changed. You click on open and you click on start. And now everything that you have done in the first file is going to be transported into the second and third file as well, automatically, as you can see. So we're going to wait. The third file is finished as well. And as you can see here, we have motor 01 opened, where the RPS are down here. And if I open motor 02, which is the other file which didn't include the RPS in there, it's going to open a third instant, a next view. And if I click here, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. You see it's 0.2, it's the second file, and the RPS is in here as well. So even batch processing, changing the view of the screen, changing or adding formulas, these things can be now automatically, when you do it for one file, can be automatically applied to several other files who have the same setups, which is an amazing step forward. That's what I wanted to show you in a very short example.
Awesome. So to put it simple, Oxygen 6.0 with its data navigation feature is especially beneficial for people who work with big amounts of data and who do lots of analysis.
To be honest, it's beneficial for nearly all customers because most of our customers, again, 90% do post-processing within Oxygen. And usually if you do a measurement, how do you call it? Campaign, it's the same setup in most cases. And
okay.
Being able to apply, because you forgot, because we are all humans, we do mistakes, we forget things, that you can apply a change, even if it's just a screen change, to all other setups, to then be able to compare them. That's a huge step forward. And that's why I love this 6.0 release so much. Yeah.
You said something that brought to my attention that we could maybe show another feature. You said something about everybody's human, everybody's making mistakes. I think we have a special feature that helps us to keep our nerves cool.
I love you as a moderator, because that's amazing that you already got what I said without knowing what I'm going to say, and you jump forward to the next step, and that's true. So we added the possibility to have file history in our DMD files. Everybody knows it. You do a measurement and you save it, and you realize, oh my God, I saved it wrong. I would like to have my previous version back, and you haven't been, until now, you haven't been able to do so. And what I would like to show you now is, if you go here within settings, and if you go to file history, because I did the change in my measurement file a couple of minutes ago where I added this RPS, okay? And let's say that was wrong. You are now able to jump back to the original file, and you can, I don't know how many revisions, 2, 3, 4, are there 4 revisions up or 3 revisions? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I really don't know, but you can jump back to the original one. You just click here. This permanently reverts the file to revision 1 and deletes all changes made for that. So you can jump back to the original file, and you can say apply. And if I go back, and if I'm not mistaken, the RPS is gone. The formula for RPS is gone, because that was revision 1. So you are now able, you have histories, you are now able to jump back. As you said, we are humans, we make mistakes. The save button is pressed very fast. And until now, you haven't been able to jump back to your previous versions or the original version, which is always kept. You can now jump back to the previous revisions before you press that save button. And that's again, yes, because I do that mistake very often. And I'm so happy that this is now in the Oxygen as well.
Thank you so much for guiding us through the data navigation feature.
You're welcome.
So we are done with the data navigation feature,
Yes.
but I have seen, and probably most out there have seen it too, the sidebar has changed a little bit. We saw the little eye previously, but now there
Yes,
is
here.
the Dewetron logo, the Dewetron triangle. What does
Yes.
that mean? Can you reveal the secret behind it?
Yes, as an application engineer or even as a sales engineer at the customer, it was previously always very difficult to explain them the difference between layout setup and setup file settings that are going to be saved into the setup file. Whenever you open the setup file, these changes are, or these settings are applied, and the difference to system settings. And to make it more obvious what the differences are, we splitted them apart. So settings who are saved in the setting file, in DMS file, are now here under this measurement settings. The settings that you do within here are the settings that are going to be saved into the setup file. So when you take that setup file and put it on another system, these setups or these settings are going to be applied because that's which is written in the setup file. Okay, but we have also system options and system settings, and that's why this small link is here. Either you click it here or you click on that oxygen triangle, as you call it, or Dewetron triangle. These settings, all settings here, all setups here, or the setup here, the oxygen setup here, they are system relevant. If you change the system, these changes here are not on the other system. For example, UI option. If you change it on this system to light and not to dark as I have it now, it's going to apply only to the system. If you take the setup file and move to another system, the system or the oxygen on the other system is going to be depending on the system settings there. So these are system settings. Okay, these are applied to the system and it stays on the system. It has nothing to do with the setup file. And to show the customer the difference, and now it's simple. These are system settings which are on the hardware. These are settings which are on the file, on the setup file that you are changing and saving if you do a measurement file. And to show that difference, we split it up. And for those who are missing those settings here, they have that link here to jump to the system options. And so this is now, I think, easier to understand that there is a difference between measurement settings that are saved in the measurement file and system settings which are for the system and depend on the system.
Perfect. So if we want to change system settings, we go to the Dewetron triangle. If we want to change measurement settings, we go to the measurement settings.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Sounds logic.
Sounds logic. Now it sounds logic. Exactly. Perfect.
Perfect. So thank you for showing us the changes in the settings and also the safety button our R&D department integrated in case someone doesn't find it at the first view, like jumping to the other sections.
Yes, exactly.
We have one other point that maybe fits into this category. We now support another export format, the Universal File Format, UFF. Can you show it to us?
Yes, so it's nothing that I can show much, but if we go to the export options, we have now the possibility to export UF, Universal File Format, UFF. That's implemented now because we had customers asking for it, and it's in these options that we have, it's a further export format that we are now supporting. Exactly. And the possibility is that you can export it binary or ASCII, so what UFF is supporting. And further options are here. Those who need those files, it's written in the manual. I don't want to blow the webinar with details, but it's implemented now. Those who need UFF can always contact us and we can go into details. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And now we are moving to my favorite category, MISC. I prepared a little word pun. More is super cool.
More is super cool. I never heard that one. That's nice. Okay.
I'm
Right,
sorry
yeah.
for my bad jokes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Wiedner, what did we integrate into the category of more is super cool?
Yeah, so CPB analysis is something that has to do with sound analysis. I'm not a sound expert, so I'm just gonna tell you that we have increased the maximum frequency of it to 500 kilohertz. Those who use CPB are going to be happy now. So that's something that we did. A very amazing thing, I think we already realized it with me showing the oxygen net files, putting them together. We made a performance optimization for high channel counts. So those who have low channel counts will not have that huge impact, but it's not going to be worse. It's going to be faster, but if the file is opened in 5 seconds or 4.5 seconds, you will not realize it. But for those who have a huge channel count, it dropped down from minutes to seconds, and that's amazing. So that performance optimization is now in as well. And we added channels for relative harmonics. So if you go to the power group, you can now turn on relative harmonics. If you go, for example, to voltage and harmonics, if you look here, down here are the relative harmonics. What's the difference between the harmonics up here in RMS and the harmonics in relative is RMS is the RMS value of the harmonics in voltage. The relative harmonics are the percentages compared to the fundamental frequency. That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. So 3 other points: CPB up to 500 kilohertz,
Yes.
loading time optimization, and relative harmonics, the channels for relative harmonics.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. Thank you. We are already really far into the webinar, and I see that we have received a question. Ivica,
Okay.
are you ready to respond to questions?
I hope so. I'll try my best.
Okay. What is the maximum cable length for the camera? So we are jumping back to the very beginning of the webinar. We received the question already a bit earlier when we were talking about the ALVIUM camera from Allied Vision. And now the question is, what is the maximum cable length for the ALVIUM camera that we have previously seen in the videos and so far?
Okay, what I can tell you is the standard cable length that comes with the camera that we are offering as a standard option is 5 meters, which is already a lot. So 5 meters is already a lot. And it's possible to be extended with converters. So if you enter in Google ALVIUM and you go to the ALVIUM page and look at the camera, you can download the manuals and the cameras there and see in the cameras that it's possible to be extended with optical converters to I don't want to lie, but it's a lot. I was really surprised, but I don't have the number anymore in my head, and I don't want to lie in the webinar. But it was a couple of 10 meters, and I'm not sure now how much. I would like to say 50, but I don't want to lie. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you already responded to the second question we received, also regarding the camera. Can the camera be extended with a hub or a converter? But you already.
So it can be extended with a converter to have much more length, and it can be also extended with the hub to connect more cameras. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm just checking the questions. I think that's it.
Okay.
So, I think
I did it. Yes.
What? not entirely. We are still missing the outlook. So, as all of you know, our R&D department is continuously working on new updates, and the next update is planned for end of March. So this will be the Q2 update for 2022. And we have many new features. Ivica already opened the list, and it's massive. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I have the list here. I can jump shortly through it and explain what it is. I'm just amazed about my colleagues up there in the R&D. I don't know when they are going to do this in this short amount of time. So this is This is really a lot. So having the possibility, so IRIC master is something that has to do with hardware and software. So we'll be able to have an IRIC master. Until now, we have been only IRIC slave, and this is going to implement now. A stop trigger asked very often, we want to have a stop trigger and the possibility to auto open DMD files after recording stops. So this combination is going to be amazing. A lot of customers asking for it. Polynomial scaling, always very important. If you look at sensors which have not a linear scaling, it was possible until now with table scaling, but with polynomial scaling, it's going to be a bunch more easier again and more satisfying. Of course, Kippy is getting again the possibility and the additional to select data output format. We will have additional power parameters. I don't have them now in my head what exactly those additional power parameters are, but again, power analyzer, very important for us, and it's getting more features. We have our work is continued with the I/O server from Müller BPM pack I/O server. So this is something I think this is already known from the news. That's a partnership with Müller BPM where we as Dewetron, Müller BPM as Müller BPM, we put our strength together and can shine with an amazing combination of our strengths. And CAN extensions, yes, so we will be able to scan for CAN messages if you don't have the DBC file, and you will be able to scale CAN messages, for example, to text. So if you have 0.11567, you will have like motor cylinder burning or I don't know what. So this is something very nice, and more statistic calculations are going to be added as well for our already very strong math possibilities. We will be even more stronger in the future.
Thank you, Ivica, for the outlook, and also thank you for hosting the webinar with me today.
Thank you for being such an awesome moderator.
And oh, I'm sorry. You have something to say as well. I'm sorry.
So yeah, for those customers and those who want to become customers, testing oxygen doesn't cost you a penny or a dollar or whatever. So it's just time that you need to do. Testing oxygen is for free. You can download it for free from our homepage, test it without risk, and make your own decision. Why is that possibility here? Because we know you are going to like Oxygen 6.x and make your own decision, find out the amazing features of our Oxygen, and give us some feedback. We would love it.
Amazing. And we have all the other releases online as well. So no matter if you want to have Oxygen 1.0 or 6.0, everything is still available. We don't delete anything. You will be able to go back to whatever you've used before. So really
without
no risk.
Yeah, so without risk, as you said, if you don't like 6.x, which is not going to happen, you can go back to 5.7, for example.
Thank you. Thank you, Ivica. It was a pleasure. And
thank you,
also
Barbara.
Thank you to everybody out there who was joining our webinar today. If you want to stay up to date with our webinar topics and the Dewetron Academy tutorials and so on, please feel free to follow us on LinkedIn and other social media channels, or to subscribe to our newsletter. And we have one little favor to ask you. You know, we changed the webinar format, and we would be curious to hear about what you are thinking about it. So please leave feedback. And also, Ivica mentioned it several times that our Oxygen is extended with the wishes of our customers. So during the survey, you will see once we close the webinar screen, you will be also asked which Oxygen features you are wishing for, and we use the feedback from the webinars to prepare the updates for the next version. So please take your chance and help us to make Oxygen better, and help us to make Oxygen better for your application. That's it. Please stay in the webinar until we have closed the tool. And yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you, Ivica, again for the webinar. It was fun. And goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next time. Bye-bye.